So this is cis white male with extra privilege here. Now, before we get into this book, I wanted to include this brief introduction. Now, first off, this book won't be read by myself. It'll be read by the same guy who did Hitler's second book. So if you're familiar with that one, that's what this book is going to sound like. He's a good speaker. But anyways, here's what I wanted to show you. Out of all the books I've ever done on this channel, that I've ever posted or read myself or videos I've made, only one has ever been blocked, and it's been this book. So you can see it right here. This is back in June 30th. A History of Central Banking and the Enslavement of Mankind had 654 views and has been blocked. And we can see their reasoning here. This video has been blocked for breaching the community guidelines and is currently unavailable. You should have received an email to your registered email address detailing the reason behind this decision. So I have not yet submitted an appeal, and because I'm going to upload the book right now after this video, I don't really want to bother anyways. Now, their community guidelines, let's see what those say. Now, I've already read the book. It says nothing about, let's see, oppression or incitement, platform bias, mob rule, censorship, legal content, exploiting creators. So, when it comes to, let's see, what's actually, well, there's nothing violent in this, and there's nothing terroristic about it. There's nothing about child abuse, nothing sexually explicit, nothing, no harmful content, and there's no malicious use. What does that say? Name, squatting, bomb. Nope. Compliant with the law. So I'm not exactly sure what it is this was flagged for. Now, I would just check my email, but by the time I saw this, I didn't notice it was actually blocked until maybe a month ago or so. And since then I decided to get rid of all my email or my Gmail addresses and just use Proton Mail because it's much more secure. You know, you don't want to really use Google Mail. So anyways, and obviously, I mean, you can look at like the other examples of things I've uploaded here. I'll briefly just scroll through them. Let's go down to the bottom. You know, so out of all these other books, Hunter by William Luther Pierce, it's about a guy who goes around and assassinates, Jews, race-mixing couples, not banned. Might is Right, not banned. Any of this, not banned. 200 Years Together, calls out the Jew very well, not banned. The Turner Diaries, that's fine. The Bell Curve, all the rest of this, and we'll just go through really quickly here. Industrial Society and Its Future, and this was made by a terrorist himself, Dr. Theodore John Kaczynski, the Unabomber. That's fine, apparently. Mein Kampf, all these other books, all really briefly. White Power. I'll list off the ones that seem controversial. Camp of the Saints was a little bit controversial. 88 Precepts, also written by a guy who I think he killed a few people, David Eden Lane. I believe he was involved in that. The Protocols of Zion. So there's many other books that either pretty are much more violent. Stephen Goodson never says anything about you should do this, you should do that, or gives any examples. Nothing about that. And we'll just briefly go through these here. Serpent's Walk, not banned. All the rest of it. And if you're even vaguely familiar with this channel. But that's my point here, is that about all these books, only one has been banned, or is blocked, rather. Same thing though, people can't see it. And it's this one. So I'll try putting this up again. The only thing I can really think of, you can watch the New Zealand shooting on this, not this channel, but on this website. You can see Brenton Tarrant gunned down 50 people, and that's not banned. But this book is, apparently. Now, the publisher is a pretty based publisher. They're known for publishing, right-wing content like this. What other people call, like, fascist or whatever. So, that's all fine. So, I think this book is pretty important, and, if you want to keep it, you should be ready to download this immediately. Get some video downloader. It's free software. You can just Google it. Just Google video downloading software and download any of the various things that allow you to do that. So, now here's a little bit about Stephen Goodson himself in Wikipedia. let me minimize this so I can, there we go. I'll make this a little bit smaller still. All right. Now, of course, Wikipedia isn't going to say anything other than just, it's disgusting here. So Stephen Goodson was actually a really good economist. He had a long history of being a good economist and being involved in the South African Reserve Bank and a financial consultant in Pringle Bay. And he was a member of, South Africa's Abolition of Income Tax and Usury Party. And he wrote the books, well, let's see. He wrote the books A History of Central Banking, Inside the South African Reserve Bank, The Genocide of the Boers, Rhodesian Prime Minister Ian Smith, The Debunking of a Myth, and General Jan Christian Smuts The Debunking of a Myth. And those are just some of his own books. I'll probably read The Genocide of the Boers myself sometime in the future, but I've got other things planned out. But I'll probably get around to that one too. It's pretty relevant, obviously. It's going on right now. This is written in 2018. Now, Stephen Goodson passed away in, I think, 2018. Yeah. I can't find anything about his death, though. I remember in this video here that was blocked, someone in the comments said he was poisoned. But I can't check it now because it's fucking blocked. So, now I couldn't find any details as to his death anywhere else. And I've been looking for quite a while. I just can't find anything. But this guy had quite a bit of a history here. We'll read a good article about him. See if you can see this here. Yeah, you can see enough. I'll just read the highlights here. So, if you want to read the whole thing, it's, well, you can just see it right here. Dr. Kerry Bolton, author. And you just type in Stephen Mitford Goodson and Dr. Kerry Bolton. That should bring you up this page here. It's on kerrybolton.com. So, anyway, Stephen Mitford Goodson, as his name suggests, was related to the Mitfords of Diana Mosley and Unity fame. Having served on the editorial board of the Barnes Review, he is most remembered by the imbecilic and notably unreliable Wikipedia and other sundry scum as a Holocaust denier, and for being anti-Semitic because the entirety of the world is supposed to be Judeo-centric. However, Goodson arrived at his conclusions through his academic and professional backgrounds in economics and finance. He was an outsider on the inside, as was put in his eulogy after his death on August 4th. And again, 2018. So, I'm not going to read off the entire thing, but you can read the whole thing yourself. But it's a good one. It's a good article. It's pretty short. Anyway. But here, just to contrast this, he had a long history of doing things, and other works and things he was involved with. But what does Wikipedia say? Just to contrast this with Wikipedia. All it says about him is he was a South African banker, author, and politician who was the leader of South Africa's Abolition of Income Tax and Usury Party. He stood as a candidate for the Ubuntu Party in 2014 general elections. And then banking. Just one sentence. Oh, that's the entire guy. Just one fucking sentence. Banking. This guy, one sentence again. He was the director of the South African Reserve Bank and previously a financial consultant in Pringle Bay. And that's apparently all he ever did in banking, huh? That's it. But then Holocaust denial, that gets a whole fucking few paragraphs here. And then World War II revisionism. So, just ridiculous. So, and of course, let's see, it's actually, how does he put? Goodson had stated that the Holocaust was a huge lie, as the principle is to extract enormous sums of money from the Germans as compensation, blaming international bankers. Goodson authored a book titled Bonaparte and Hitler versus the International Bankers, where he maintained World War II was provoked by the economic success of Germany, and he had also criticized the political actions of Jewish bankers, posting his views on like-minded websites. As a result, the South African Israel Public Affairs Committee, every single time, As a result, the South African Israel Public Affairs Committee called for the Reserve Bank to fire him for his statements, considered to be a pro-Nazi. So, here we go. And then they say he's promoting historical revisionism. You know, projection, obviously. I don't need to tell you guys this, but... Okay, here's the sentence one. In response to an article written about Goodson in the South African Jewish Report, oh man, which was published on 30th of June 2017, Goodson explained that his disbelief of the Holocaust is predicated on the claim that in the 8,263 pages of World War II memoirs written by Winston Churchill, Charles de Gaulle, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and Harry S. Truman, there is no mention of millions of Jews in Europe having been annihilated. And then Goodson died on August 4th, 2018. And again, there's no details as to his death. So, anyway, that's about... sorry, that's about all I wanted to show you guys. I think this is one of the most important books that'll ever be posted on this channel. So, it's the only one that was actually blocked on BitChute, of all places. I mean, and it certainly had no calls to violence. To reiterate once more, there were no calls to violence. I mean, the siege is fucking on here, for Christ's sake. So it's definitely not due to calls for violence. There's nothing about that. And the only thing I can think of is maybe the publisher had an issue with the book being on here because it might cut into sales. But I don't really think so. I don't think that's the main reason, because there's other books on here, and that hasn't happened to any of them. I mean, so I doubt that's the case. And the publisher is it's called Black Horse Publisher. It's owned by actually a guy in Nigeria, and the website's known for publishing right-wing content. And they seem like they're pretty based. You know, they don't like liberals. Like I've said before, I think I said this at the beginning of this video, but other Antifa types call them a fascist book publishing place and don't like them at all. So that's a good sign. But anyways, I think I'll end it right there. But the point is, the takeaway is this is the only thing that's ever been banned on my channel. In, let's see, 541 videos, only this one has ever been banned.